The voices of some of the voters there in Georgia in these two Senate runoff races. And for more on that and on that recording of President Trump pushing Georgia's Secretary of State to, quote, find him the votes and overturn their certified reelection, we're happy to be joined by Georgia's Republican Lieutenant Governor Geoff Duncan. Lieutenant Governor, thanks very much for being with us. I just want to get your thoughts. Look, we all heard it. Some of us have delved into the full hour-long recording of the president's phone call with Secretary of State Raffensperger. What was your reaction when you heard that coming from the president?
I was disappointed. I don't think there's any other way to describe it from my perspective when I first heard about it, and then actually put my ears on it. Disappointed for sure. Can't imagine anybody on the president's team thought that was a good idea. But it is what it is. It's another blow to us here in Georgia, another distraction. But certainly Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue continue to work hard, and hopefully we've got enough Republicans that can push through this and show up tomorrow and get them across the finish line.
Well, let me delve into that just a little bit. This distraction, the president has been really calling into question the integrity of the entire election system in Georgia and other states. And so you mentioned it as a distraction. What kind of impact do you think this phone call is going to have on Republicans who might be disheartened by Joe Biden's victory there and now confused by everything they're hearing on social media and from the president of the United States?
Well, I do think it is going to have a negative impact. Hopefully it's not anything that's going to change the outcome of the election, and we can continue to push forward. But it's a continued narrative where, some Republicans, including the president, have just decided to use the misinformation and the election fraud, conspiracy theories as an excuse. And quite honestly, I don't think it helps us short term. Certainly doesn't help us long term as we try to figure out what went right the last 4 years and what can we improve on in a GOP 2.0. And so, look, we're just going to have to keep going to work. We've got 36 more hours, roughly, and I'm certainly going to spend all that time trying to get voters to show up to vote for Kelly and David.
And elections are always about tomorrow, as you say, Republican 2.0. The president's there. What do you want to hear from him tonight? He's a great campaigner, as he's demonstrated. What do you expect, and what do you want to hear from him tonight?
Well, I think if he stays focused on the accomplishments of his administration and stays focused on the accomplishments of Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue as conservative senators, I think we got a great shot to continue to remind enough folks to show up to vote for them to win. That's important. All this other business and garbage and misinformation is a distraction. It's a sideshow. It does nothing. It's wasted energy in the big picture here. And so my hope is that we just they spend their time focused in on talking about their accomplishments.
So, Lieutenant Governor, I was looking at the Georgia Code, Title 21 of the Elections section, Chapter 2, Section 604, criminal solicitation to commit election fraud. Do you think that responsible law enforcement officials in the state of Georgia should look into this call to see if any of your state's laws were violated?
Well, I'm certainly not a lawyer, and so I'll let them make sure that they investigate all, the letter of the law, as you just read. What I will tell you, as a Republican, I do support law enforcement, and I think it's important to remind as many folks across America that might have doubts or might have concerns or might have read some of this misinformation that we've had our law enforcement along this entire process. We've had post-certified investigators in the Secretary of State's office, and also our GBI, our Georgia Bureau of Investigators, work with the signature audit process. So we've had law enforcement with us every step of the way. I'm proud of their efforts. Even though the guy I voted for didn't win, I'm proud of the law enforcement efforts here. And as a Republican, I'm very, very proud of that.
And let me ask you, you're a rising politician in the state of Georgia, what does this say about our democracy? What does it say about the voters that you are answerable to, that you're going to want to speak to going forward, that so many of them are willing to believe that it's a sham, our democracy?
Yeah, I think this is a great pivot point for us as a party and as a country. But, if I'm looking at it through a partisan lens, this is a great pivot point for us to go back to the basics, right? We just spent 4 years validating that an outsider can come in and make big changes in Washington, D.C. But where do we go from here? How can we get better at the policy? How can we be more empathetic to those that we're trying to bring into the fold? And how do we change our tone? I mean, 280 characters has just been a constant barrage of just continuing to beat people down. I think we can do better as a party. This is a pivot point. I think we'll look back at this time and see it as an opportunity for us to go from here.
Well, that's optimistic. More conversation, less tweeting, maybe. Let me ask you finally. So What should the rest of the country, as they're looking at what's happening in Georgia, what should they know about Georgia's election officials and how they've handled this presidential election?
Yeah, I'm proud to be on the team. Governor Kemp, Secretary Raffensperger, ourselves, our Attorney General Chris Carr, and others, 159 different counties working together, have put on a fair legal election. Was it perfect? I'm certain that's not the case, right? Every state, every county always has opportunities to make improvements, but we have put on a fair legal election. We have worked as hard as we possibly can to validate those results, and we're going to do that again tomorrow. And certainly I want America to be proud of this election. I want Georgians to be proud of this election. And hopefully we can get through this. And on January 6th, 7th, 8th, whichever day all the final results are tabulated, we can all wake up and turn the page and move on from here.
Well, let's hope. Geoff Duncan, the Lieutenant Governor of the state of Georgia, thanks very much and good luck to you.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.